I apologized and I went on, but they didn't realize they planted a seed in me. Amen. I seen just a couple years ago. I was out at the Cuyahoga Fair, and I seen a setup just like that. Same exact thing that I had seen 30-some years previously. And I told the men, I said, let me tell you something, gentlemen. I want to encourage you. I was 19 years old, a drug dealer, and I looked in one of these things. And though I didn't give my life to Jesus that day, it sure prepared me for my salvation. I said, I want to encourage you that you're doing a good work. Amen? See, everywhere I went, because of the love of God, because He loved me, He was sending me warnings. He was sending me messages. He was sending them by people. He was sending them by billboards. He was sending them by a cross on Scranton and Clark, a Baptist church that had a big cross. Every time I walked by, God was like, and I'm staring at this cross. See, God knows how to reach a person. But I want you to know something. God can't touch a life unless someone is praying for them. And I don't know who was praying for me. I know my great-grandmother probably held me in her arms as a baby and probably prayed for me, but she died when I was 3. How many of you know those prayers didn't die? And I'm sure there was others that prayed for me. I remember going to a little church on West 20, what was on Clark at the time, right across from McDonald's, and my buddy Ronnie Victor had just got out of prison. Yeah, that was the kind of people I hung with. And Ronnie just got out of prison, and we were out drinking and getting high, and we had a little call that they were going to have a little homecoming party for Ronnie. So here we all, about 6 or 8 of us go staggering into the church. And we sat in the back seat until after the end of the service. We only caught maybe about 15 minutes of the service. And afterwards, we went behind a little area in the back, and they had pizza, and they were, congratulating Ronnie for coming home. And I got to talking to a little pastor lady by the name of Sister Buttons. Remember Sister Buttons? And I told her, I said, I used to work at a pizza shop. Anytime you need pizza, let me know. I can get it for you probably half price. And I could. My boss would give me a break. Even though I didn't work for him at that time. And we got to talking, and just a few months later, I got saved, and I started going over to visit Sister Button. And Sister Button got up and testified one day, and she said, I met Brother Timmy, they called me. I met Brother Timmy about a year ago. And said, I remember him coming in there, and though he had long hair and they were all drinking and high, she said, but I got to talking to that young man, and I said, God, he's a good candidate. He's a candidate for salvation. She said, Lord, touch him. Save his soul. And said, now he's sitting in the church serving God. I want you to know something. She never told me about Jesus. She never said, son, you need to quit getting high. You need to cut your hair and you need to get in church. No, she just said a prayer for me. She began to pray for me, and God saved me. So what I'm trying to tell you, He loves you, and you're to love others enough to pray for them, and enough to intercede, and enough to share the love of God with them. You may not have the opportunity to tell them about Jesus, but you sure can display the love of God to them.
Yes.
And if given an opportunity, then tell them about Jesus. Somebody said, you've heard me quote it many times, preach the gospel at all times, if necessary, use words. Sometimes you don't have the opportunity to use words, but you always have an opportunity to show love. If it's just a smile on your face when you're walking past someone that looks so down and depressed. I stopped to pick up a sandwich the other day at Arby's in North Ridgeville. Young man, he come open the door, open the window, and he said, how are you today? I said, I'm doing okay, buddy. How are you? I'm doing fine, thank you. He said, it'll just be one moment and they'll get your sandwich for you. I said, okay. So he said, do you need any sauces? I said, does it come with mayonnaise? He said, yes, it comes with. He said, let me find out. He come back, he said, yes, sir. it comes with mayonnaise, but would you like a little extra? I said, yeah, I think I would like a little extra. I wish I didn't say that because they didn't put a little extra. There was gobs of mayonnaise coming off. Usually they don't put enough, and this time they put way too much. But he comes back and he said, he's reaching out the window like this. He says, you have a good day, okay? I said, thank you, son. You have a good day too. I don't know if that young man loved Jesus or he just loved his job, but he was showing me attention.
Yes, yes.
And I'm going to tell you something. If it was in a restaurant and he was my waiter, that young man would have made out that day because I would have threw him the best tip he had all day long. You understand?
Yes.
Because he showed me attention. There's times that us guys go out and grab a bite to eat after church, and the waitresses that treat us the nicest get the best tip. See, there's rewards for being nice to people.
Yeah.
There's rewards. Jerry tells stories of how when she worked at a little restaurant in Columbus that she had a special connection with her regulars every day. And even to the point, like if they didn't show up and they were in the hospital, she'd go and visit them. See, that's the love of God. Amen. He loved us. We're to love others. Amen. Now let me read this verse again. It says in the 7th verse, Beloved, let us love one another, for love is of God. Love is of God. He says, and everyone that loveth is born of God and knoweth God. See, you are known as His disciples, but by the way you love one another. Not just your fellow brothers. It's easy to love you because you love me. What's difficult to love those that are backbiting me, those that are grinding the knife in my back. It's hard to love those, but I'm required to love them the same as I love you. It's hard to love the neighbor down the street that cusses you out every time you drive by. But I'm required to love them the same as I love you. My daughter told me yesterday, she said, Dad, there's a little girl, she's a biracial girl, the sweetest little thing. She's about 6 years old. She comes to our house all the time. I walk in the house, she'll be sitting there on the couch watching TV. You know? It's just a sweet little thing. Her mother come over the other day and told my daughter, she said, I come looking for her. I was looking everywhere for her. Said, I knocked on your door and there was no answer. Tanya said, oh, we had the fan on. I didn't hear the door. She said, well, I come looking for my daughter and she was in the backyard all by herself. And I don't appreciate that. I don't like my daughter being back there by herself. My daughter said, now, did I do something wrong? I said, no, you're not the babysitter. First of all, they live about a block and a half away. What's that little girl doing by herself walking down our house?
Exactly.
And what's that little girl doing in the backyard when my daughter seen her walk out the door and head down the street, and somehow she turned around and went back? And I have a pond back there, and my fear is that some child would fall in that pond. I don't even want them in my yard, to be honest with you. Not because I don't want them in my yard, but because I'm concerned for their safety.
Right.
And I said, what is wrong with people that expect, I know it takes a village, they say,
Yeah.
but not literally. It takes a mama.
Yes.
And if you ain't got a daddy that's man enough to be daddy, then it still takes a mama. Happy Father's Day, mothers. Amen.
Yeah.
I don't get people today. I don't understand them. Amen. I mean, I keep a better watch on my dog than some people do their kids.
Right.
Exactly.
Now, am I to not love this person because of the foolishness in her heart? No. We're still to act in love and engage in acts of compassion. How many of you know that it's our obligation to engage in acts of